Good evening, everybody, and welcome to take 2 of FishTec Live, Season 2, Episode 2. Wow, I really hope we've actually got something happening now. Let me just check on my Facebook page if it's come up there. Guys, I'll only know what you're saying in a few seconds. Sorry about this. One of these lovely things that happens on live shows. Okay, let's try that. Guys, I think we are up and running. I think things are working. Audio okay here, Sven? Audio is better. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, how much time have we lost? We've lost 4 minutes. Apologies, everybody. I don't know if you guys heard, but I said welcome to Season 2, Episode 2, where we're going to be talking about points. That's our primary discussion. Let me just give you, and we're going to be talking about high-level imagery once again. I was back on Midmar, was it yesterday? Yes, I think it was yesterday. It's 100%. In fact, it's running over the dam wall at the moment, so that is fantastic. So I took a couple of pictures. I will be doing a big update on Midmar, but I'll tell you more about that later. And then we're going to look at a little bit of news, if we've got time. What was happening this last week or this last month? What exciting things have been going on? So quite an eventful evening, not to mention the start that was not without event. But guys, let's get straight into this. Let's see, I need this one here. Like I said last time, I was talking about, oh, now there's 2 of us. Woo, look at that. Okay, this needs to pause. Let's go back. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to show you guys. Okay, last week I said to you, it's all about old school meets new school. You know, I must be honest, contours in South Africa is relatively new. Look, there's a lot of you out there that have been dealing with contours for many, many years with your old paper sediment charts and that, and you know them backwards and whatnot. But relatively speaking, for South Africa, it is very new, particularly on the inland water side. FishTec really only got started 10 years ago. I've been doing this whole thing for about 15 years now, but 10 years ago FishTec got started, and the way we got started was with charts. But we're going to take things that you'll read about in or what you'll see on YouTube videos. In this case, I'm talking about Buck Perry's spoon pluggers of America. He's written some incredible stuff. This goes back to the 50s and the 60s, like I said last month. So guys, there's really great information in here. But what happened, I introduced you to Buck's diagram of a basic structure layout of a reservoir or a dam, for example, like this. Last week we dealt with under common structure, we dealt with double points or bars. This is a main channel and then a little creek or channel feeding into that. That was our discussion last week. Then I said this week we're going to skip B, which is delta humps, like old sandbars on rivers, because it's something that I'm not very familiar with. So I don't want to talk about something that I've got no experience with whatsoever. If there's any one of you out there that does have experience with it, that it does apply, please contact me, and you can come on live if you don't mind. You can, or phone in, and I can invite you as a guest onto the show. I'd love to have that. I really want to start doing more of that. I need to learn how we do that, but I'm sure it's not too difficult, but we will try that. So yeah, so I'm going to skip delta humps, sandbars and what have you. If you can see from that diagram there, where is it? Oh, my hands disappeared. Okay, but tonight we're going to deal with C, D, and E, which is short points and bars, where you've got a very steep, sharp drop-off. Then you've got D, which is jagged points, which is like multiple points off a single bar, if we can call it that. And then E is your long points or bars, which is more than likely what most of you relate to. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. under this section of bars, you'll see, you know, if you can get your hands on this type of literature by Buck Perry, it's really worthwhile, guys. It's a fantastic read. I know it's very dated, but let me tell you, structure has not dated. It's still the same thing. The bass are still the same. Yeah, so it's really worthwhile reading it. You know, going on to second page here, you know, I'm not going to read this through to you and whatnot. I don't see the point of that. What I'm trying to do is show you how you can personally take literature that you find similar to this and convert it into something you are working with, you are dealing with, you are preparing for yourself. And I'm not just talking about tournament anglers. I'm talking about recreational anglers too. In these readings in this literature, this I am going to read, however, in order for structure to be used as a migration route, it must have immediate access to deep water. Now, guys and girls, every now and again, you will pick up something like this, which is absolutely gold. And it's so easy to skip over it, or nowadays there isn't too much reading going on when it comes to this type of thing. There's a lot of video watching and whatnot. And in a video, a guy's talking to you, but when he talks to you, he can't put what he's saying in caps to highlight what he's saying, unless he repeats it and repeats it and repeats it and says, people, please don't forget this. But this is one of those things that you really need to remember. Okay, so when you're planning, it's that time of the year where you think, okay, these fish are going to be migrating, they're going to be moving or whatnot. Keep this type of thing in mind. This is just one example. There's obviously many of them. I'm using this as one example. Okay. What have we got next? Let's have a look. Okay, we're back to there. Right, guys, so how do we break down what we've read into what we see? You know what I want to do? Let's play. I'm going to merge this in here. Sorry guys, jeez, I'm having a bit of a rough evening tonight. I'm not very organized, I'm sorry. I thought I was very organized. Okay, here's a video. Okay, just listen.
You know, one of the things that I love to do is really dissect a point with a crankbait. And you know, there's a lot of things you got to think about in which way to approach the point, you know, how the fish may be positioned. And first and foremost, you know, the number one thing that I want to think about is there any current? You know, which direction the current's going to be coming from, you know, knowing the upper end of the lake and the upstream side.
Guys, I'm just going to pause this video right here. The first thing that I'd like to say here, let's just take KVD out of this picture for a sec and his boat and whatnot, and look into the background. How many of you, number one, well, okay, just imagine in your mind that KVD is not there. Look in the background, look at those trees and whatnot there. He's talking about points. This is a point. How many of you, number one, would recognize this, what you're looking at here, as a point? That is question number one. Okay. Number two, if you okay, now you got to be honest with yourself. If you were there on this lake, I don't know where this is, obviously in the States somewhere, but if you were on this particular lake right now and you were there with your boat in these conditions, where would you be and what would you be doing? I can tell you now, the majority, I know the guys that, there's some that won't, but the majority are going to be, can you see in the background there along that bank? They're going to be just off the bottom, just deep enough, and they're going to be casting onto that bank there. You see that sand bank on the back there? That's where the majority of the boats are going to be. Where is KVD? He's sitting way off that. He is targeting the point that has been created that you cannot see with the naked eye. Now that you need to remember. This is, just pretend that I've said that in bold now. If you're reading it as text, he is fishing that off a chart, something that he can only see on his chart plotter, on his finder. That is a point coming off. That is what he is targeting. Okay, let's carry on and let's see what
out of that point is probably where the fish are going to be positioned if you have that scenario. You know, if you're on a reservoir that doesn't have a lot of power generation, or you're on a natural lake, same thing. You got to think about what might create current there. And in a lot of cases, that's wind. So, you know, if the wind is pushing into a point, I want to be, you know, casting across so that I'm...
Guys, I'm gonna stop there again. What I want to do is, I'm going to take us, he's talking now about, he's off the point. He's talking about how you're going to fish it. There's current, there's wind, there's all that type of thing. But first of all, let's go and have a look at a typical point. And let's try and put ourselves in this position of what he's actually talking about. Guys, how's the audio? Or can you guys hear me? Is everything okay? Everything seems to be okay. Right. I want to go back here. Right. There we go. You've read about, you know he's talking about a point. Okay. You want to target a point. So what are you going to do? Take one of your local maps and zoom in to an area. Take an area that you're more or less roughly familiar with and you want to go and fish it. First of all, let's go to just plain contours. Guys, contour charts can get awfully busy. And the better they are, the busier they are. So they look extremely cluttered. So you need to do a little bit of manipulation on how to determine what a point is and make it easy for yourself to read it. Now, obviously, this information that I'm going to tell you guys about now, these are my experiences and these are the ways that I do it. You could do it any way you want, and or take what I've said and improve it, or anyway, you guys decide on how you want to do it. For me, I'm concentrating on points. Arrived at this dam here. This dam that we're looking at here is DeHoop. I've just recently mapped it. It's a fantastic chart. It's the only chart in South Africa that has all the contours. So, and this isn't taken from a sediment or anything like that. This was done with my autonomous craft. Spent 6 days on the water here and collected some fantastic information and very accurate information. And guys, anybody that knows DeHoop, you are absolutely spoilt for cover when it comes to timber. But guys, as awesome as that is, having all that timber, it also makes it difficult because it's just everywhere. How do you select the special spots? Because remember, it's always a spot on a spot, but we will get to that. Let's see, anything going on here? Jonathan Greenway, good evening, Jonathan. He says the sound is good. Okay, great, awesome. It looks like we're back on track. Boy, that was a rocky start. Okay, so what we're going to do is, you can see the chart behind me. How do we stop the clutter? Step number one, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to view. It's slightly cut off on the side there, guys, but if you had your unit on, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then I'm going to tap categories. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to turn all the lines off. Okay, the reason why I want to turn all the lines off is I want to declutter the chart. I want to identify points. Now the minute that I've turned that off, I can identify points. Boom, there's a point. Boom, there's a point. I'm talking about predominant land-based points now. Okay, boom, there's a point. Okay, you go, DeHoop has a lot of points. It's a great map for this application. Okay, those are the very, very obvious type of points, and we're going to start with that type of deal. I mean, let's take that one for example. This, from a chart perspective, is such an obvious point. You can see it's a point, it's a sharp point. Okay, this is a very easy to read point. But what about a point like this? What about that point? That's not so easy. That's not an easy point, because what happens when we go to the satellite? Most of you have got satellites. Now, if you were studying this chart, how many of you would identify that spot as a point? Let's say you are sitting in front of Google Earth now, you're planning your tournament, you've got Google Earth on your Hummingbird and you've got Google Earth on your Lawrence, and yes, now you sorted, boy. Now you're just going to make plans and club the fish. But you didn't have the contour charts. How are you, now you know you need to target points. How are you going to identify that as a point? Let's go back to contours. There's the point there. That's a prominent point. Look how close the point is to that channel. That makes it a super point. Okay, so that has got extreme value. So anyway, let's take another one. Let's have a look at this one. How would this differ between, okay, this you can clearly see is a point. I mean, there's no doubt about it whatsoever. Let's have a look at that with the satellite image. Guys, when the dam is 100% full, or 98%, what it was like when I was there, I think it was down 2 feet. It was just short of a meter down from running over the wall. Guys, if you're using satellite imagery, it is very difficult to identify this point, because what's going to happen here is you are going to identify that little thing there as a point. It's a type of point, but it's more of a bluff with a cliff face on it. Excuse me. Than an actual point, but there is a point here. It's right next to it. So let's say you go back in the history. This new DeHoop chart of mine also has history back to 2012, before they actually built the dam. What part of that tells you that it's a point? You would still think this is the only point. That there, you'll say, okay, that's a point for sure. You can see that, okay? But if we go back to the contours, we've missed this. This is the point. So now you say, okay, we've identified this now. We couldn't identify it from the satellite, so we do need the contours. Okay, I wonder if I can turn on imagery here. No, I can't. I was hoping I could, but anyway, I can't. Okay, now we need more information. How deep is this? How deep is this section here? So what we do now is we go to view, we go to categories, and we go and turn on, be careful, don't put on all the lines, we just want the depth contours. Okay, now immediately something special happens here. Okay, we can see this point here, 15 foot in this particular position. This is when the dam is 100% full. Remember, my maps, when I've surveyed the dam, that 2 feet that the dam was down, I've compensated for that. So this chart, if you use this chart, the DeHoop FishTec HD chart, and you get to the dam, these depths are when it's full. So if you get there and you see the dam is down, drive out to an area like a flat area like this, where you see the contours are nice and relatively far apart. Drive into this area, try and drive along one of these major contours, which in this case is the 42-foot mark, for example. Drive along it, don't drive off it or up it, drive parallel or directly on it, and see what the depth is. If you see you only getting 32 feet, you know the dam is down by 10 feet. So you have to deduct 10 feet from anything that you want to fish. So in this case here, if 15 foot was your target when the dam was full, and the dam has gone down by 10 feet, you're only going to be in 5 feet of water. Now you got to start watch out. You got to watch out, because you can start, you know, you can damage your boat or whatever. So be careful here. Let me just see who's on here. Join. But fishing, would you fish the upside or downside of that point? Jeff, we will get to that. Let's see if KVD was saying some really great things there about how to fish that point. I'm actually going to rewind his video a little bit, and we're going to come back to this exact point, and we're going to talk about it. Steve Barnett, John, is your maps made with Reef Master? Yes, they are, Steve. I do use Reefmaster. The new Reefmaster 2 is out. It is available. It's a great platform. Most of us cut our teeth on Dr. Depth, but it got outdated, unfortunately, and that outdated technology has moved on to the Hummingbirds, and it's just not sufficient. It just can't do what we do with the Lawrence charts now, and this is why we use the new Reefmaster 2 with the IMC, the Insight Map Creator by Lawrence. And right now in the world, Lawrence is the only brand that can do what you're going to see tonight with all these various layers and multiple images and what have you. Remember, I did say there are multiple images. Hummingbird can do image overlays, but it's only a single image. Okay, back to the point. Guys, just straight off the bat, when I look at this chart here right now, I can see there's the steep side. You can see on the left side, on the northeast side of this point, that's a really nice steep drop off going all the way down to 147 feet. You've got this channel right here, 156 feet right near here. This is a migration path. What we saw in Buck Perry's book just now, if there was a migration path where fish are going to be coming from the deep to the shallows, this is what they're going to use. Brandon Palaniuk, I hope I pronounced that correctly, great fisherman from the United States. He talks about the golden triangle. This is your golden triangle. There's your deep water. Here's your point. Here's your flats. Boom, boom, boom. There's your 3 points. There's your golden triangle. That's done. That is a magic situation here. Flats, bait, protection, safety from the very deep water onto a point. This is a classic spot. Okay, so this is a very good spot to actually target. Guys, there's something immediately. Remember, these things that we're talking about here, we're talking about contours, we're talking about reading charts. What did you guys spot immediately when the minute I turned the contours on? I'm going to show you what it is. Can you see that section there? You see that contour that shoots out to the right like that? Do you know what that means? It means there's a flat there. That means the point does this, and on that spot, let's zoom in, we should get more contours. There we go. 30, 29, in 28 feet. Can you see the 28 feet contour, minor contour actually does like a little loopy loop there? It's a flat. If you never had, let's say for example, you never had the lines at all, you wouldn't know that. You would not know that that little flat section is there. So these colors are great to initially get you going, but you need to turn on the contours, and they've got to be good contours. So that is obviously a key spot. Okay, let's go back to KVD's video and let's see what he says here. I'm going to bring this back.
Either with the current or across that current, so I want to approach the point that way, and sometimes it makes it a lot harder. So a lot of power generation, or you're on a natural lake, same thing. You got to think about what might create current there, and in a lot of cases that's wind. So you know, if the wind is pushing into a point, I want to be, you know, casting across so that I'm pulling my bait either with the current or across that current. So I want to approach the point that way, and sometimes it makes it a lot harder. So, you know, you're going to have to cast into the wind, or you're going to have to cast across the wind to get that bait coming across in front of that point where those fish are going to be facing into that current. You know, if you don't have anything like right now, you know, it's slick, calm.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to stop it right there. Let's look at boat position. Let's go back to the set. I'm going to merge that in. Okay, what did he say? Okay, this is DeHoop, so I'm going to zoom out. Now, while I was there, I'm sure the wind can come from various directions, but in the time that I was there, predominantly, this wind came from the north. It came from the north, straight down, sort of from the dam wall side, going south, well, let's say from northeast, but it was more of a direct north-south, or that's what I recall. So let's say in a case now, KVD said you want to be going across. Okay, so determine the depth at which you're comfortable fishing. If you say, okay, look, I'm comfortable of going to, let's say, 18 feet. There's our 18-foot mark there. We say, right, we are happy with that spot now. So that's going to be our target area. What would you say is a comfortable, and remember the wind's going to be coming from north, south, straight down, and he said you want to be casting across the point. Do you either want to be going across it, you know, with the wind, how did he word that? So that, you know, you're not going to be, but you don't want to sit on the edge of the point and then retrieve straight back into the wind. You either want to sit from the downward side, cast to the deep and bring it back so the fish that are facing the current will see the bait coming at them, or you want to sit from the side. So in this case here, let's take 15 feet. Guys, I hope I'm not Jeez, got a moth in the eye. That's very cool. At 18 feet, that's our target, okay? Or let's make it 15 feet. Okay, let's just for interest's sake make it 15 feet, okay? Where are you going to place the boat? Where's going to be the spot where you're going to target this? Decide on what the distance is. Look, you don't have to make it this technical. You'll get the hang of it, you know. But for a classroom type scenario, FishTec Live thing, we're going to make it a little bit more technical. Okay, we're targeting 15 feet. We want to know roughly where we're going to place the boat. Okay, so what we can do is we can measure. We're going to reset to the cursor, and what would you say is a comfortable distance to cast? For me, 80 feet or 90 feet. Let's make it 90 feet. You know what, I'm going to make it 60 feet, 56 feet. That is roughly for you to cast, get your bait, like for instance, let's say you're casting a crankbait or whatever. You want to make a comfortable 56 feet, that's 2 boat lengths and a bit. You want to cast past that, let it sink down. At this point here, you could drop a waypoint and say this is your boat location point. Okay, and drop it there. Let me just see if I can turn on some settings, chart, waypoints. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that's going to be your boat position. Or you don't have to leave a waypoint there like that. If you've got an XI5 trolling motor, all you do is you say go to cursor. You're going to say go to cursor. The vessel position is not available because I haven't got GPS on now. But if you had a let me just cancel that. There we go, back. Okay, so you can say go to cursor, and if you've got an XI5 trolling motor, which I hope, guys, Motor Guide, if anybody from Motor Guide is listening, please upgrade this motor, please fix it. Really, we're having endless trouble with this motor. Then the motor will go there, get to the spot there, and can spot lock there, and the wind can be blowing, the boats can be driving past. It doesn't matter what they're doing. You can park there and cast to your heart's content to the spot here in 15 feet. Now you've determined the depth that you want to target. You can see there's a little bit of a flat. Can you see how this contour has gone out there? So that's something you definitely want to look at. But let's have a look. What can we see here on the Ultra HF? This is our high frequency overlay. Unfortunately, I use a Hummingbird in order to get the resolution using the ultra high frequency side scan. But unfortunately with that ultra high frequency, you lose range, and that's why we have these much smaller little strips now. But guys, look at what we were targeting here. Straight away you can see this is a very, very interesting spot. If we go back to the contours, we can see it's got a little flat section there. If we go back to the Ultra HF, you can see quite clearly, never mind a flat section, it might even be a slight bit of a rise there. So if you look at your boat position there, there's a bit of timber dead ahead in that desired, there's a lot of timber, but This is checking a lot of boxes. This isn't just going around the world casting to millions and millions of, or hundreds of trees that are everywhere. You've decided on a depth, contour wise it's right, you've placed your boat correct according to what KVD's just told us here with regard to current and wind and how the fish will be relating to it. You've somehow determined a depth that you're comfortable fishing, and then you can see that there's standing timber here, there's some rocks around here, there's all sorts of things around here. So this is a very, very good spot to target. Okay, what we can do is we can even zoom out and go to the 2012 imagery before the dam was built and see what was there, what was this thing. Okay, unfortunately the resolution of the satellite is not that great, but you can see there's definitely a hump of sorts there. Does that tie in with the contours in that section? Yes, it does. It's slightly off. Remember guys, do not trust the satellite imagery for exact location. Google Earth is very often out. I've had it, guys, up to 30 meters out. That's 90 feet. That's a long way off. In this case here, that's where our actual flat is. So we go to satellite. No, we went to satellite of 2012. You can see there. So if we had to go back and measure this, how far is this off? I think we were there to there. Guys, you're looking about 50 feet. That's 2 boat lengths. So be careful of the satellite imagery. It's a fantastic guideline. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. The satellite imagery is a fantastic guideline. It's on these charts. You can use it. But I would certainly prefer that you, when it comes to the actual target, go to your contours. There you can see where it should have been, was slightly more to the left, and then of course to your ultra HF, which is also very accurate. So that little hump that you saw there on the satellite, this the ultra HF has actually highlighted that quite nicely. There it is there. Let's just see if we can see it in the shade. No, it's too dark with a shaded relief. Okay, so let's go back to KVD's video. So we're going to go
you know, I generally want to just try to hit that point from the steepest side, you know, where I'm throwing up onto the shallow area, and I'm going to work it all the way around it. And if I catch a couple of fish, I want to definitely change around, come at it from an opposite angle, and crank that same spot again. It makes it a lot easier now that you have, you know, GPS and mapping to be able to follow these contour breaks and to be able to fish these points. So, you know, if you got a good spot there, one of the things you want to do is drop a marker buoy or drop a waypoint on it. That way, you know, if you come around from the other angle, exactly where that spot's at, so you can get that bait to hit that key little area. So often when you're cranking, the sweet spot is going to be very small. Some of the best schools of fish I've ever found have been in a spot the size of the front deck and no bigger than that. If you throw just right or just left, you don't catch them. So,
right, there was quite a bit of information there. Some really great information. He was talking about the steep side. We've identified on this chart here, which is the steep side here, which is on your west side here. I think just now I was saying northeast. Apologies, northwest. I'm going mad. Okay, so this will be your steep side. You can zoom out and see. Okay, there's your very steep side. It's quite a sharp point. So you've got sort of steep sides on both sides, but steeper on the one. So you know what he was saying about that, and choosing the sweet spot, the spot on the spot. In this case here, definitely, you know, switch over to your ultra HF, look with your HF, look for something different, something unique. Rocks, there's a little rocky, little humpy thing over there. That is certainly interesting. Get on it, make a cast to it, go and look at it. If you're not sure about the depths, go to your view, go to categories, and go and turn on your depth contours. Okay, you can see, okay, that's your 18-foot range there. You can see there's that sort of little platform there. We've got 15 feet there, you've got 18 feet there. Guys, I know most of you are not very comfortable fishing deep spots, but I can tell you some of the best fish I've seen and caught have come out of that 45 feet, 50-foot range. So, and those were good fish. So don't be shy to have a little bit of an explore here. You know, go and see what is out here. For example, this big rocky hump over here. How deep is the top of that? Okay, that's getting a little bit deep. That's 53, 51, 40. Yeah, we're on 49 feet. The top of these rocks here. That's quite interesting there. Let's see what that looks like on the contours. Okay, this, I know we are talking about points and bars. This isn't a point or a bar, okay? This would be classified as a hump or an island, which you'll see, I think it was J or something in Buck Perry's, which we haven't got onto. That's something we'll get onto at a later stage. But while we're here, this is a hump type of scenario. You can see from the Ultra HF, definitely something there. You know, you can see it's very rocky. Okay, so definitely, and remember, this is at nearly 100% full. So as the dam drops, places like this will really come into play. And if the dam had to drop by, what did we say, 55 feet or 53 feet, and the water's dirty, you can kiss your gearbox goodbye here. That rock there will take your gearbox, your prop, it's gone. It'll break it off. You think you're fine, you're out in the deep water here, all of a sudden, boom, you're in shallow water, and the thing is gone. Okay, let's have a look. There's something else that we've got on the sediment chart. DeHoop has a very, very unique sediment chart. For this, I'm going to go back to the satellite. There it is there, okay? DeHoop is the first dam that we managed to get a digital sediment. What that allows us to do, it allows us to take that digital sediment, and thanks goes to Vian Rath. He sourced this from somewhere, and he put it out there for everybody to download and whatnot. And he gave me permission to use it, and thank you very much once again for that, Vian. And look what we can do with your digital sediment. You see there? Those little lines, if you see those little lines on a sediment, let's just zoom out so you can see what the sediment looks like. You see that? There's all the boundaries, there's power lines, there's all the creeks, there's your purple is your buildings, where all the little buildings are. There's power lines here, there's grids. Where's the power lines? I think that's a power line. Anyway, there's a heap of information on this, and the fact that we can not only overlay it onto the satellite, but we can overlay it onto the contours, we can overlay it onto the Ultra HF, that really makes it an absolutely fantastic tool. So immediately, if we go back here to the sediment, and we go to back here, let's go to the satellite, let's go to satellite 2012, and also go and turn on that. It's under miscellaneous, just remember that's under miscellaneous, and look how accurate that is. It's showing the rocks perfectly there. Okay, rocks all around there. Fantastic stuff. Okay, so yeah, lot of great information here, guys. Please don't forget about these categories. They are really handy. You can do so much with them, and very often it's quite easy to find. Let me just go back through here. It's under chart options, it's under view, it's under categories, and this is where you can turn them on and off. Sometimes it's difficult to expand it like what I did now, and what I recommend you do is put your thumb right in the corner of the screen and of the plastic frame around the screen, and then just slide your finger onto the little drop down, And well, you can't see where my finger is, but anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm activating it. So yeah, so basically there's something very important. How much time have we got? Wow, I can't believe it. 43 minutes. I need to move. Contours. This is very important. What about areas that you don't, now the dam's dropped. The dam's dropped by, let's say, 20 feet or 30 feet or whatever. How do you then identify points? Guys, it's as simple as doing this. You're going to go into your settings, you're going to go to view, you're going to go to your categories, and under your depth areas, let's say the dam is dropped by 30 feet. Take any depth that is below 30 and remove it. Can you see what I'm doing? 12, 15, that's below 30. I tell you what, the hummingbird guys must be bleak now watching this. Turn that off like that. Although, you know what, I mustn't talk rubbish. Hummingbird Lake Master charts do have a really nice feature. They have a depth reveal bar. We can also do that with our charts, but I haven't been doing it to our charts lately, I must be honest. But anyway, this is something that we can do. Anything under 30 feet, I'm going to turn off. 36, that's definitely up to 30, that must also go. Okay, there we go. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing again. You're going to go back to the categories and you're going to turn off the lines. Turn the lines off. Okay, now go around your chart and look for the lines for those points. Now you've turned off the depth areas that aren't in play. They're high and dry, they're up on the side. Now look for your points that are still in play in a targetable depth. Obviously that one is in play, that one is in play, that one is in play once again. There's that island point there, of course. There's multiple points. I mean, DeHoop has just got so many little valleys and what have you. It's quite incredible. If I turn on the lines of the sediment, you see all those blue lines? Those are all the little feeder creeks and channels coming into DeHoop, and it's highly complex, but it really helps you to identify the main channel, and it helps you identify all these little feeder creeks. And even when you go onto your Ultra HF, let's say you're in here with your Ultra HF, gets a little bit busy with all the contours, go back into your categories once again and only turn on the sediment chart data, and there it is. You don't have all the clutter of the contours. You can turn it on to see what depth you're in and targeting, that's fine, but here are all your little runoffs and your channels and your old buildings and your roads and all that type of thing on top of, and your lines and your power lines or fences or whatever it is, feeding into these kind of areas. So this is really some truly fantastic information here. So guys, if you fish DeHoop, I think tonight's talk about points, geez, you couldn't have got a better dam when it comes to points than DeHoop. But yeah, whatever chart you've got, use these techniques and go back to this video of KVD's where he talks about the sweet spot. Remember that sweet spot that he talks about the size of his deck? Man, you've got to look for those spots. You really got to look carefully for those type of spots, and when you find them, you've got absolute gold. So yeah, let's just have a look here quickly. Let me just zoom out. Guys, I think from a points perspective, I can't believe that it's 48 minutes already that we went on talking about that. But I think you guys get the gist of how to break down points with your charts. You can break down where you need to be, your boat position in relation to the point, we could probably talk about this for 3 hours, you know, just looking at the time that's passed now, and there were so many things that I had in my mind that I wanted to talk about, like these invisible points, like this one here. You know, when we looked at the satellite, there's nothing there, but if we look at the contour, there is something. How to identify those, where do they come close to deep channels, all that type of stuff. You've got to take the time to learn your charts and study your charts. And even if you're not a tournament angler, this is going to make a difference. You want to go out there, you want to catch fish. Knowing these things, going to key areas, is going to make a difference, believe you me. So yeah, guys, let me see, are there any questions? Good evening everybody. Alton, MZ, Chad, Michael Cannon, thanks Michael. Richard Whittam, John Minnie, good evening John. Robbie Olivier, good evening Robbie, thank you. Greg Ross, Julian van Zeydam, Johan, Peter Esbach. Yeah, guys, thank you very much. I'm going to do, how much time have I got? I've got 10 minutes. You know what, I've got time. I'm going to turn this unit off. I'm going to let you guys watch KVD a little bit while I change the chart on this unit here.
It's very important, you know, when you get a bite, to make sure that you look up at the shore and line up exactly where you're at. You might look down at your depth finder, your GPS, mark a spot right there, but look, get a good line on it too, because you know, if you move 10 or 15 feet and don't make that same cast again, you're probably not going to catch the rest of that school that's there. So often, you know, I think the average guy will miss that mother lode spot. I mean, yeah, I'm always looking for that place where you can throw in there and catch him every cast for, you know, 20 or 30 minutes. That's the kind of schools you live for in tournaments. So, you know, look at the angles that you're at, and when you find fish on a particular point and you start to catch them like that, remember that for the next point that you go to, the angle that you were, you know, were you on the, you know, the side wherever the sun was facing, or where the wind was blowing in, or however the current may be sweeping around that particular point. So it's very critical every time you pull up to a point to think about all of those things.
Check us out at wired2fish.com.
Right, guys, restart, pause. Okay, guys, I'm talking about, let me just get this chart going here in the background. I said to you earlier, I went to Midmar yesterday to go and have a look. I haven't been on the water at Midmar since it came up. There's a couple of things I wanted to do. There'll be a, yeah, and I was just amazed to see how beautiful it is and how much the dam has actually come up. It is just nothing short of amazing. But what I want to talk about is ELI, eye level imagery. If you look at this photo that I took with my phone yesterday, with my little cell phone, my iPhone, again, like I said to you with that video with KVD earlier, where would 99% of you be right now? If you were looking at this video now, where would you guys be fishing? I can tell you now, honestly, most of you will be fishing along the shore. Along that shoreline there, you'll be just deep enough to make a nice comfortable cast into the shallows, and you'll say this is it, and you'll be casting, and you're casting, be chatting to your kids or your friends or your dad or your wife or whatever, and geez, by about lunchtime they're like, yeah, I tell you what, this fishing story, I don't know. Fishing is lekker, but catching is a different deal. Okay, what does make a difference? If you take my FishTec HD charts, my FishTec HD charts have a thing called eye level imagery, and what it is a photograph of, not everywhere, but certain spots, particularly of Midmar. There's not quite as many on Midmar as what there is, for example, Rudderkoppies, Inanda, Albert Falls. There's thousands. Vaal River, 3,500 of them. Plenty photographs, but in this case not too many. Okay, so there's a couple of hundred, so they're very good. I mean, good few hundred. So, you know, it's not like it's 1 or 2 or something. But let's just have a look how this will make a difference to the fishing. Get away from the shore. If the fish are in there, if there's bait in the shallows, and they're smashing in there, and you're getting fish in the shallows, stay there. Turn the electronics off. You don't need electronics. Go and have fun. Enjoy it. I'm talking about when the fish are not on the side, on that shoreline there. You need to find out where have they gone. I've done a slight fade out here, but just of this first a photo to see what is actually beneath you here. Now you've backed way off the shore. You're thinking to yourself, no. We're too far off the shore here now. Can you see what's happening there? Starting to highlight. There's an old sunken boat. You see the boats underneath there. There's the boat there. Okay. But more importantly is something running along there. Oh, my finger just gets cut off by the video. Can you see that ledge? That is critical. Bold, caps. That ledge is known as a break line. Buck Perry talks about it, talks about the break lines, with whether you're fishing a point, whether you're fishing a bar, whether you're fishing whatever, look for these break lines. That is a break line. If the fish are not up on the shallows there, they are very likely on this break line. That is the panoramic image that you will get on your chart. Now, in order to see what that would look like on the actual finder, let me go back to the HDS 9 set. I'm going to merge that in. There we go. Okay. You're going to zoom in here. Back, view, categories, points. Okay. This is the satellite. Okay, let's just have a look. What is this the one that I'm talking about? Yes, there we go. This is the actual screen. Did you see how easy that was to get to that picture? You just tap on it, it comes up there, boom. It's not scrolling through thousands of pictures on your phone and trying to remember which one is which. It's accessible directly off your charts. And the other nice thing is, like I've said to you before, you can use this go-to feature. I don't know if you can see it. No, it's too far out. There's a go-to down on the bottom left of the screen that you tap on. If you've got an XI5 trolling motor, it will take you to that exact location, and boom. Let's look at a different chart here. Let's look at my aerial HD. Oh, such a pity, such a pity. You can see what I did here. I just cut off the front of the boat. In fact, the software cut it off. But I should have expanded my flight area. But you can see there's the tip of the boat there, so you know exactly where to target it. And guys, this is that ledge. Okay, what ledge is this? How did this ledge come to be? And look at it, there it is. It goes all along there. It gets a little bit closer there. Guys, do you know what that ledge is? Before they raised the dam wall, that was the old water line. So obviously when the water was close to 100%, it was basically right on that lip the whole time. Okay, so there's your lip there. Let's just see what it looks like with your elevation view, if you can see it. Look at that, clear as day. Remember guys, this elevation view, this is taken from the drone imagery, which is your aerial HD. And sometimes you lose perspective on a 2D image like this, but the software uses a form of LiDAR, light, distance, and ranging, and it creates that type of effect. So you can see exactly where that lip is. Guys, look how amazing this is. This light, distance, ranging, known as LiDAR. If you look at the aerial HD, okay, those boats are not going to be there. So when the dam is full, don't go and target these boats and say, oh, where's this lovely cover here? Those boats have been put up here on the grass or in the nice guy's store at the back here. But these other things here, they are still here. Okay, you've got lots of pictures here to go and have a look at. That's what it looks like. Obviously when it's low, when you hear fishing, you can zoom in, you can move this around, you can even zoom in even more and look around. There's a lot that you can do with this. Okay, let's get back to those pictures that I want to show you. Yo, we got 2 minutes. Here's the eel eye set. I'm going to merge that back in there, and I need to go there, and we're going to pause that, and we're going to go back to here. Okay, right, this next spot now, I was going to build this into my whole point story and whatnot, but I knew I was going to run out of time, but I didn't think I was going to run out of time this fast. Guys, I'm going to go a little bit over. I apologize. Jacques Kuman says, John, when will the DeHoop map be available? Jacques, it's basically finished. There's just a couple of little things I need to finish off, and the DeHoop will be available as of next week. So anybody that fishes the DeHoop, please give me a shout. Drop Colleen a mail or a call and book your DeHoop chart. It's going to be an absolute cracker, and use that chart before everybody else does. You're going to find some incredible stuff. Okay, back to the ELI on Midmar. Again, guys, this type of scenario, where would you typically be now? I know where you'll be. You'll be up against the bank there, and you'll be targeting the shallow shoreline, what we call bank bashing. And there's going to be a little bit of timber there, and there's going to be a little rock or two, and you're going to be sitting and you're going to be targeting it. If you had these charts, you tap on the imagery, that is what that actually looks like when the dam was low. Now guys, going there with no charts, that's what you see with your naked eye, and you bank bash along there. Or get the charts, use all the imagery, use all the tools, use the 3D elevation, use all that amazing stuff. Guys, the cows are not going to be there. Those cows were walking past when I was filming this thing. So you're going to have to use a little bit of common sense there. The reason why I say this, okay, it wasn't specifically cows, it was something else, but someone asked me about this, and I said, no, the water's come up, that animal would have drowned. So anyway, there needs to be some logic. Little bit further on from that same spot, same type of scenario, lovely grass in the background there. You're going to be tempted to throw your frog in there. You're going to be tempted to throw your little flukes in there and your Texas rigs and all that type of thing. But that's what it really looks like. There's a break line there. There's a point. Those rocks, that cover has made another point. You can see how it comes out as a little point there. There's also a break where the ground is actually a transition point. Can you see that transition line there where it goes from the clay to the rock? Those are things you want to target. You want to see those type of areas. So guys, let me just see if there's any more. Yeah, again, here you're driving along here, you're fishing along here. This is actually very shallow. The next thing you're going to see, there you've hit your trolling motor, and you're buying a new HDI trolling motor adapter because you hit these rocks because you didn't know they were there. And this is quite shallow even when the dam is full. So yeah, watch out for that type of thing. Here, trees, very easy to identify. You're going to go past here with your boat. You're going to cast directly onto those trees, close to the stump as possible. But you're not going to, let's say you don't get a bite. You're going to be thinking to yourself in your mind, what is possibly around here? You don't really know. There's the imagery. Okay, I took it a little bit later. But you can see, no, don't go looking for something that is not there. This is pretty, there's not much there. There is really just the trees. Okay, there's that little, there just on top of my finger, it looks like a little rock or something there. Maybe you could have a cast at that, give that a try. But yeah, eye level imagery, guys, it's a fantastic tool. The guys that are planning on fishing Midmar soon, please use your eye level imagery. It is going to make a massive difference. And of course all the other tools, the aerial HD, the etc. So yeah, guys, as far as news goes, I was going to show you a video on the new Fish Reveal, the software that's still meant to be coming out this week. Oh, Guys, take note. Julian van Zeydam. Good evening, Jules. He says, that's where I caught the SA record. Can you guys remember that? Jules, I think it was 6.3 kgs. I don't know if you can confirm that. That's what I seem to remember. 6.3 or 6.9. I can't remember. But that held the SA record for a long time. And Julian says that is where he caught the SA record. So, wow. Julian, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Something really special there, guys. I can see a convoy of boats heading to Midmar this weekend. Lekker. Guys, with regard to the news, Fish Reveal is on the new software update. I have been using it for a while now, thanks to Lawrence, South Africa, Liz Plotz, and her technical manager, John Minnie. Thank you very much for that opportunity. I absolutely love the Fish Reveal feature. The Fish Reveal feature I want to talk about next month on FishTec Live. I think we have taken a massive jump in technology and the way sonars see and give us information, but we've run out of time. So I'm going to talk about that next month. So remember, the second Tuesday of every month, FishTec Live at 7 o'clock. Guys, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I'm still going to invite people on the show. I'm still going to have guests. I'm going to fish with certain people. I'm hoping they invite me on board. And yeah, we're going to do some filming and whatnot, and we're going to bring it into the show and talk about it in the show. So guys, once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you next month. Tight lines.